It was a Monday morning during the summer of 2015 when we received a call that our genetic testing results had come in. We discovered that our first child was a boy, and then we discovered that our little boy was conceived with an extra 18th chromosome, a life-limiting abnormality known as trisomy 18. Nothing can prepare you for that moment. Your world comes crashing down. The future you envisioned with your child begins to slip away. We were encouraged to terminate the pregnancy and try again for a better one, which is to say, a healthier one. I understand the mix of emotions surrounding this choice that parents are offered in our country, but if my son's death was impending, I would not be the one to set that date. So rather than giving our little boy an abortion, we gave him a name, and Abel Paul Crawford's beautiful and unconventional journey on earth continued. I carried Abel for 39 weeks into 2016, and he was born on January 22nd, the same day that Roe v. Wade was passed. I've since had 2 more babies on January 22nd, but that's a different story. We got to love and take care of him for 15 days outside of the womb, and I can honestly tell you that our time with Abel was simultaneously the happiest and the saddest, the best and the hardest 39 weeks and 15 days of our lives. In some ways, people may think it would have been easier for us to choose the other route, but the truth is, terminating my son would not have spared me an ounce of loss or despair. It would have only robbed me of the joyful memories that we now have forever marked my season with Abel. I never would have known my amazing son. I wouldn't know exactly what he looked like. I wouldn't have heard the sound of his little newborn cry. I wouldn't have gotten to bathe him and change him and feed him. No one can take those moments and those memories from us. We wouldn't trade them for the world, and I can't fathom giving them up prematurely and voluntarily. While we don't find ourselves in the political arena all that often, we have established ourselves in the social sector and operate a nonprofit called Abel Speaks. As we share our story in public, our goal is to never to condemn or offend any family who has chosen a different story for themselves and their child. We don't want to shame families looking at the past, but we do want to strengthen families living in the present. We want more stories marked not just by loss, but also by joy and hope in life.
Our hearts were shattered to hear the words, incompatible with life. We were encouraged to terminate as we were told she would not survive past 24 weeks in the womb. My husband Matt and I decided that we would not give up on our daughter and that we would give her the opportunity to fight. Fast forward to February 14th of 2019 at 12:08 a.m., we welcomed our forever Valentine, Tessa Rose Duzan, into the world at 37 weeks gestation. We got to see her and hold her, kiss her. She passed away after 19 hours of life while cradled peacefully in the arms of her 2 very proud big sisters, Haley and Madison. She never knew anything but love. Losing a child is the most difficult challenge I've ever faced, but her life has also given me the greatest joy that I've ever known. I will never forget the way that she locked eyes with her daddy on the way to the NICU, or how she opened her eyes and turned her head to look at me the first time she heard my voice outside of the womb, or the way that she held my finger tightly and squeezed every time I tried to pull away. Our time with Tessa was filled with precious moments that we will treasure for the rest of our lives. If given the chance to start over, we wouldn't change a thing. Every bit of our time was worth the journey. We know that God had a purpose for her life, regardless of how long she lived.
It is a huge honor to be here on my daughter's 2nd birthday. Her name is Hannah Grace. She was born on April 10, 2017. My husband and I found out we were pregnant with Hannah after 4 years of infertility. The first 11 weeks were wonderful and great, and then at 11 weeks, 6 days, we found out she was diagnosed with acrania. At that time, the doctor said, "I'm so sorry. If you would like an abortion, I don't do that here, but I can refer you out." My husband and I, because of our faith in the Lord, said, "No, we're going to go ahead and carry her to term, whatever that means. If that's 10 more weeks, if that's all the way to full term, we want the chance to get to see her live." She was born on April 10th and lived for 31 hours and 22 minutes and passed away peacefully. Our friends got to meet her. Her older brother, who we had just adopted 2 months prior, got to meet her as well and got to kiss her. We'll never regret that time that we had with Hannah Grace. And I believe that a baby, just because they're incompatible with life, does not mean that they forfeit their right to live. To get to see her nurse, to get to bottle feed, to get to open her eyes for her mommy and her daddy at the very end of her life was worth every single hard week for 39 weeks and every single minute that she was alive.